Hello, hello. It's Anastasha Grace here again with the weekly show, and we are continuing talking about love, relationship, twin flames, and soulmates. Today is going to be incredible conversation. Join me in, tell me if you can hear me, and as usual, throughout the session today, feel free to ask questions, and I will be asking you questions. Make comments. Where you at? Where you at in your journey with your search for a soulmate, your search for twin flame? Where you at in your relationships? Let me know. I want to hear your story. And as usual, I'm going to give as a gift Akashic Records channeling reading for free to at the end of today's session, today's show, for a person who puts their hand up in the very end of our conversation today. And today we are having a very incredible conversation, and I will share you why. This subject is, as soon as I share this, um, this subject is very important in my opinion, and not talked about enough, and is the selection. How do we actually choose? How do we actually select that person that we are going to build our life together? How that we are going to build the relationship together? Quite often that what happens is that a bit of a like montage, right? We all seen that in Hollywood shows. A boy meets a girl, a man, or a man meets a woman meets a man. They get just life striking. They just get overwhelmed by this feeling. Fast forward, they get married. Fast forward, something happens in their relationship. So those gaps between, kind of unknown to us, and not enough is talked about. So today I'm going to shed the light on how do we actually go through the process of selection, so you are going to end up with the person of your dreams, and not just some random person that you have felt an attraction uh, for. This kind of attraction is very glamorized, and thanks to Hollywood and thanks to all the beautiful stories, romantic stories that we read, this it's too glamorized to the point where we skip a very important step. And if you are on your journey to meet the one, to create that beautiful relationship, and whether it's a power couple, whether you want your soulmate, whether you want your twin flame, or maybe you just want a really beautiful, strong, powerful marriage or relationship, that stage is essential. And I do work with couples, and at some point in my life, I actually wrote a book about and researched this subject, and I was asking so many couples. I like interviewed about 100 couples, asking the same question: Why did you get married? Why did you decide to, yeah, tie the knot? And very few, probably like 1%, was actually able to explain exactly why, and communicate, and done it consciously with awareness. And majority of people that I've talked to and I have seen again and again kind of just fall into it. And love is so glamorized that when it happens, quite often we just blindly go into it. And why do we need this awareness? So you can build the relationship of your dreams. So you need the awareness how you go into it. it's very easy to kind of trying out in your younger years. That's a perfect time to go and explore different people and explore yourself and try to find yourself through different people. When we're 17, 20, 25, we fall in love, we jump in and we discover ourselves through that relationship. However, when you mature, that's when your spiritual maturity growth, that's when your awareness growth, your consciousness level grows. So selection process becomes important, and it's if anything, that's an indication that you are ready for your soulmate, you are ready for that beautiful partnership, because you actually able to take responsibility for who are you planning to build your life with, who are you planning to be with, and you're not just driven by this kind of impulse of urge, oh, this is love. Not last, I think, couple of shows before, I was discussing about three types of the soulmates, and one of the soulmates is biological. It's like physical level, kind of on those beginning levels of awakening, and you get attracted through the physical, and for the purpose of the survival and being building this life here and now. And that could be an attraction as well. However, you might be already on a different level. You might be on a level of searching for a soul connection, which is going to feel different and be different, and requirements of your awareness are different, right? High level. So, selection. And again, even in the dating game, we're not talked about enough, because we somehow, I see in my clients this shyness or awkwardness around, like, oh, what do you mean is I got to ask questions? What do you mean I have to interview them for the first few months of my dating? But I'm in love and they love me. It means that and that's it. And then this kind of this pause happens, like silence, or in the person thinking that that's it, that's enough. However, maturity process, the higher consciousness level of awakening requires taking responsibility for yourself, requires taking responsibility for your life, requires taking responsibility for your decision making, and also for the choices that you make. The choices that you make, even in love, even in who to love, who to give your love to, who to open up to. I hope it makes sense. When we do it mindlessly, when we jump into it without intention and without understanding that we are creators of our reality, and we need to start taking responsibility for creating our own reality, you can end up with a person that you are only attracted on the physical level, on the energetics level, on the level of that attraction that feels like unusual connection, that feels like that special connection. However, it is not. Or it's not that deep connection that we're looking for. So what I teach my clients, what I suggest you can do as well, and my question to you is, where you at right now in your in your journey with your with your relationships? Are you single? Are you looking for one? Are you ready for one? Are you sensing one? Later today I will go into the stages of attracting the stages of the twin flame relationship. So we're going to go through stages. You might identify certain stages for yourself. So tell me where you at in your connection. Um, so selection process. How does that happen? How do we do that? Basically, how does it look in real life? First, create a list. Create a list of qualities, desired qualities. Create a list what kind of person you are looking for, what kind of person you are ready for right now, what kind of person you are looking, you are magnetizing, what kind of person you're attracting towards yourself. Why is it important? And I hear all kinds of objections to that and comments to that. Sometimes people not willing to do the list because they think that the fate somehow knows better. Somehow the universe knows better than you what to create for you and what to bring your way. That is spiritual maturity. That is a maturity in your in your being, basically. It's not taking part of co-creation, the process. So until you step into the place where I am creating what is around me, I am creating my life, it is going to be virtually impossible for you to attract that person, that special one, that connection, that the one into your life. You will end up with someone. You can end up with someone fairly random that you have an maybe physical connection, like animal connection. You can have those wounds matching each other, so you see that there's so many like similarities. If you are in a place wanting to attract your soulmate, your twin flame, you gotta become more intentional with your energy, more intentional with your desires and what you put out and what you magnetize into your life. So that list will allow you to see what is it that important to you. It will allow you to see your own values. It will be like a display for you of, it's like an internal mirror. Like it's going to be like a mirror to you when you write the list of things that you're looking for in your partner. And then you can ask yourself, where am I in that? Where, on what level am I fulfilling or living out exactly what I'm asking from my partner? If you want someone to be outgoing and bold and funny, are you outgoing and bold and funny in your life? Because whatever you're requesting, you need to be able to match in your energy. I will give you an example of a client of mine who was uh, who she started working with me in your healing journey. She was in a deep depression for 25 years, on big dose of antidepressants every single day, virtually in and out of this life, like checking out from this life regularly and not having enough energy to participate. And her desire was to attract a man who is powerful, magnificent, successful, who will sweep her off her feet, take her, and carry her into beautiful life together. And then we started, I asked a question, we started diving into it, and I said, okay, if you are that man, you are powerful, you are incredible, you are this alpha male, you're this leader, super successful, full of energy, full of vibrance. Are you going to look at someone, are you going to even notice at someone who is not like him, who is halfway in her life, who is checking out regularly and feeling depressed and hoping for someone to save her? Would you actually notice that person? And she said, oh no, no. So you need to be able to match in your energy the person that you're seeking. It means doing some internal digging. It means doing some internal healing. It means, looking at the character traits that you still need to work on. If you want someone really generous in your life, how generous are you? Or are you still trapped by survival and still trapped by scarcity and fear, and you have a lot of greed that is unresolved in you? Then heal that. So that list of selection will allow you to shed the light on what do you still need, where do you still feel lack, and also where do you still need to up your own game. Because if you want someone incredible, make sure that you are incredible and on the same level. And it is vital for the longevity of your relationship. It is vital for you to know who you are, and it is vital for you to know what are you looking for, who are you seeking, so you can recognize them, so you can have those points of identification, kind of like a checklist. And it can be a checklist. Make sure you you don't go too shallow in that. And it's not about requesting someone blonde and tall with blue eyes. It's about reading the vibration of your potential partner, or reading the vibration of your soulmate, of that the one that is going to be such a perfect match, and you just going to join in together. And when you are doing that, you're at the same time reading your own vibrations, like, I am like this, I need that, I am full of energy and life, so I need someone really alive and really vibrant. My main need, or my biggest value, is adventures, exploration, is just doing something bold in this life. So that is my essence. I need someone who will match me in my ability to go and do the adventures, take those you know wild trips with me. So that's what I'm talking about when I say about selection. Love is not everything, and there are so many levels of love as well, and this love and the attraction can come from so many places. Again, going back to the 3 types of soulmates, second type of soulmate is your growth soulmate. So you can be attracted to someone on the level of growth. You see that they are basically on the level of the mind, right? You can be captivated by somebody's mind. And that's the second level of connection. The third level of connection is that when it's like transcendence, is the level of the spiritual, deep, or purposeful connection with someone, when you can transcend all other levels and integrate them with you. A second list that I recommend to write is, how does your relationship look like when people look at it from the outside? How does the relationship itself feel like, look like? Because that is like a third entity. When two people come together, they create a separate entity. They create one more uh, alive being that has its own quality, that has its own values, that has its own mission or purpose. It's not just you two anymore. There's a third alive, energetic being between you. What's the quality of that? And the third list is, how do you feel when you are with this person? So that will give you an indication how to recognize them. That will give you an indication of that vibrational feeling. Just before the show, my client who went through this massive healing journey with me and let go of a lot of his childhood wounds, being an orphan and always feeling abandoned and rejected. We've cleared all of that, and his soul has such a huge quantum jump in this awakening, that he just sent me a picture that he met someone, and he met her for the first time, and he couldn't stop crying. And he's like, I am a grown-up man. I don't know, I don't understand, why am I crying? And that is one of the indicators that you have met someone on your soul connection, because that level of connection becomes overwhelming to the point that human heart starts crying, starts clearing, and shedding that wall of protection through the tears, melting the ice around your heart, because your soul connection is so strong. It's just busting through all of your layers of self defensiveness and the survival and the human protection, and bursting through any kind of wounds or your internal expectations or judgments, and shining through. And that's when people start crying from this overwhelm when they are meeting the one. My story of meeting my soulmate, my twin flame, was similar. There was just this incredible magnetic connection to the point of I just dropped into the void. I saw all the universes at once. I just experienced myself as a multidimensional being just from coming together energetically. It was so powerful and so incredible, beyond any kind of, drugs or psychedelics you can take. It was overwhelming. All I could say is, who are you? And that is going to be a good indicator for you that you are meeting someone special. Also, feelings of joy, feelings of love, overwhelming love, feelings of safety, feelings of recognition, feelings of, fascination with this person. Write them down. Write down the emotions that you want to experience with this person, so you can then prove to yourself that it's so special, that's exactly what you've been looking for, that's exactly what you've been manifesting, and you have no doubts anymore. That brings me to stages of the twin flame connection that I want to share with you. So the first stage is yearning for the one. If you are in that stage where you are feeling that, I know there's someone out there, I I just sense that there's someone for me there, I'm going to get ready, I'm preparing for it, or someday I will be ready, or you just have this, this internal preparation that's an indicator for you. Look out for those signs. And I can tell you that definitely there are different levels of people out there, and some people are quite happy with being single. They just happy, and if someone comes along, that's great. Someone doesn't come along, that's absolutely fine. That's an indicator, right? If you don't have the longing, you don't have the yearning, you don't have the sense that there's someone around you, somebody else is present, is supposed to be in your aura, in your field, well, it's either you are not ready, or it's just not meant to be in this lifetime for you. You could be doing, you could be preoccupied with something else. I know for myself that I had it all my life. I always knew that I'm a coupled person. Like, I always knew that there is a person with me, and I'm just kind of, I guess finding the one. Um, it's kind of knowing that you're a couple, knowing that you are a part of something, and that's okay. You're absolutely fine being single, but at the same time, you know that you're part of something bigger. And the way it showed up in my life is that I rarely was single, rarely ever, just because I knew I'm a coupled person. After my divorce, I was in a marriage for 15 years, and after my divorce, and I got married very early at 21, I took a time to actually heal, to actually dive into myself and actually start searching and actually discover what I need to discover and prepare myself. I was absolutely, it's exactly how I was thinking, is that I I need time for me, I need to discover me, and then at some point I will be ready. And then a few years later, that moment has arrived when I decided, yes, I am ready now. I'm ready to be a couple again. I'm whole and complete. I have healed what I needed to heal. I've looked at my mistakes. I have discovered what I needed to discover, and I'm ready. It took me 2 months to bring that person into my life. And then when we were discussing, like we were sharing for the signs, it's so incredible is that and he's exactly the same. So my partner had it his whole life as well. He's like, I was always searching. I was searching for a woman. I knew that you are out there. You're gonna laugh, but I was always looking for a woman with a name that starts with Anna, A-N-A. And I knew when I saw him as well is that he had some features that I was always responding to. I was always looking for those particular features. There were signs. And that brings us to the next stage, sensing the one. Sensing is that you might see signs somewhere out there. You might actually meet them. Some stories that I know of couples that would that knew each other for 15, 20 years, but they never came together. They were just lovers here, and then they go apart and then come back together, and they were kind of on each other's radar, occasional lovers, but never actually came together until a certain level of maturity and certain level of experience and presence and intention. So you can meet them, but not end up with them just yet until you're ready, until they're ready. You might have glimpses, you might have these sensations that of recognition. You might have dreams. I had a very vivid dream, and I only understood that dream probably 5 years after I saw the dream. When I saw that man, that tall dark man, passing me, and I had this this excruciating, this feeling in my heart that I know him, and that's this person. And I have only discovered this dream, understood that dream many years later. We were already married, and then I remember the dream, and I said, oh my god, that was you, in the dream. That is crazy. I always saw that. I knew it. I remember it vividly. I still remember the dream. So you can start sensing them. You can have those glimpses of recognition. So that's why that list is so important, that list for selection. So it's easier for you to identify. So it's not mindless. It's very it's very common for us to say, oh, the universe will bring it to me, or the fate, if fate allows, that will happen. That's not how it works. It's not. You are always creating your life. You are always in a co-creation process with the universe, with the source energy. You can do it intentionally, or you can do it unintentionally. And unintentionally is absolutely fine when you're young, when you're in your consciousness level of a toddler, and you kind of create something and then break it down, and then create and break it down. The more you mature, more intention you need to put in, and recognize and respect that you actually a very powerful soul. You're a very powerful being that is constantly connecting and constantly communicating with the environment around you, and you can uplift yourself at at any moment. You can choose to bring yourself above the human experience and connect deeper into your soul frequency, and channel more and see more and understand more from that soul frequency. That's why I love giving out and gifting Akashic records readings, and I will gift one at the end of this today's show, because what we do is we open the channel of your soul frequency, of your masters teachers. It's literally, it feels like a waterfall pouring down, where you can receive the transmission of your essence, of your source energy. It's your channel. It's incredible. And that appreciation for yourself, the appreciation for you as that powerful being, it just it increases exponentially. The next stage of twin flame relationship, twin flame connection, falling in love. Well, it's more, usually feels more like completely uncontrollable, completely beyond your control. It's not just falling in love in normal sense, or usual sense of things. It's more like, how could I describe it? It's like being twisted by a tornado, or just a force outside of your control. You have no idea what's going on. You have no control of your feelings, and it's like your soul takes you on a ride on your journey, and off you go, and you're just like a passenger, and just being surprised every second of what's going on. It's very incredible feeling, very different from normal standard human relationships. that we live through, that we have experienced in our lives, because usually just like, oh, you're nice, you're nice, you're lovely, you're lovely. Let's see each other again. Let's hang out because it feels good and it's lovely and you're a good person. With the twin flame or a soul connection, it's more like, I have no idea who you are. I don't know why you're here. Doesn't make any sense to me, but if I need to see you again. I need to see you again, and preferably every single day of my life, and preferably, every hour. It's actually when you do join in with with your soulmate, with your twin flame, and with you, that soul connection. It's really hard to be apart. It feels just vibrationally incredible to be together. So that's feeling falling in love stage, is it could be very, very beautiful, and usually very easy as well. It's just like, it's just this natural attraction, natural magnet, and you're just there, and that's it, and no explanation needed. And it's the best thing is that logical goes out of the completely blown out, and is no explanation needed for both of you. It's so natural, so easy. And it's, again, going back to the list, that is important stage to start checking in with your partner in regards to your common values, in regards to your needs, in regards to your future together. Start having those conversations, and that's where I recommend asking questions, 300 questions. I have a list that I give sometimes to my clients of 360 questions to ask this person. So you are not just led by this kind of unknown feeling, but you are very intentionally start creating and co-creating things together already, and jumping into this level of magical connection. It feels absolutely incredible. And why does it feel incredible? It feels incredible because it feels like home. Our soul frequency for us feels like home, feels like coming home. That blissful feeling, glimpses of that bliss that you have had in your life, being with your loved ones, looking at your newborn child, having this expansive sensation when you're in nature and you're overwhelmed by beauty, and it's just breathtaking, and for a moment your brain shuts down, it slows down, and all you do is just you breathe with your whole being, with your full energy, with your open heart. That is the place of our soul connection. That is something beyond human. That is something that our mind cannot grasp. Quite often it doesn't even have explanations or words for it. That's where this beautiful art or music gets born from the lack of language, from the lack of explanation that mind can bring. And that's what our soul frequency, our home frequency, when you connect with your soulmate, with your twin flame, with the person that you have a soul connection, that's how it feels. It feels like home. It feels really good, feels really, really, really nurturing and safe. Then the next stage kicks in, which is the turmoil stage, which is very, very normal for any relationship. And in no relationship, even twin flame connection, is protected from it, is can escape it. You cannot escape it. Turmoil stage is going to happen, whatever magical connection you have, or is it just a normal relationship, or it's just two beautiful humans decided to get married and live together. This stage is going to happen. And I coach my clients in my couple coaching to go through that, because what happens is our wounds and our fears, our insecurities, and our differences will show up. They will naturally show up. You grew up different. You were not ever identical. You come from a different place. You have different perceptions. You have different upbringing, background, concepts, meanings that you give to the world. You have different maps of the world, and it is very natural for you to have the turmoil. And more than that, the shadow will start coming up as well. We are not saints, and even if you have lived your whole life with the idea, or with the mask of a good girl or a good boy, you've been trying to be a good human being, there is a shadow side of you, whether you like it or not. Just like there is a night and day, there is a absolute vicious villain inside of you, and the most saint and most incredible being inside of you as well. And those shadow parts of us, they hold and hide all the unpleasant things about ourselves. It's all our fears, it's all our insecurities, all our guilt. I have done this wrong, I have made the wrong decision, I stole some pocket change in my from my parents when I was little. I did this wrong. I was told that I'm a bad person. I was greedy. I was ungrateful, and so on and so forth. And if you think that you are free from that, you're fooling yourself, because we all have a shadow side. We all are on the both spectrum. The most generous and most giving person, as well as the most greedy and stingy and selfish person. It's all us. Because if you are kind and generous right now here, imagine if you end up in some dangerous life-threatening situation. If I throw you now in the middle of the war and hunger, and you need to survive and kill for survival, to save your children, save your family, or you will steal, you will kill, and you will be stingy, and you will be greedy, and you will do so many things that you have never expect yourself to do, but you will. And that's the truth about our shadow and our light side of us. So those things will come up in the relationship. You will see most beautiful part of your partner, most enlightened, and you will at some point will see they're being snappy or impatient or angry or whatever there is. And you gotta understand that this is just a side and a shadow, and what you choose is that that's what you get to choose your true nature. You get to choose who to be. You choose to be the good person. You choose to be forgiving. You choose to be generous. It's not something that is, you know, done kind of unconsciously. What can happen next is the running and chasing stage, is when the trouble begins and one partner says, oh my god, this is horrible, this is not what I imagined it to be, I'm done, I'm going. Or they could be an actual separation, they could be that breakdown in communication. It could be just withdrawal, it could be the reactivity, some kind of responses, and they can it can last a day or it can last years, where twin flames can separate and go separate ways to work on themselves again and to up level in their maturity only to come back. And sometimes they come back in this lifetime, sometimes they come back in other lifetimes together. And that's the truth about the twin flame relationship, is that it actually can be not in one lifetime, and it doesn't look like a perfect ideal Hollywood type of relationship, you know, where everything is blissful and everything is hunky-dory. It's actually very intense, and it has this different stages. So the running and chasing stage is that one partner could be chasing that love and trying to get it back. The other one could be withdrawing and trying to separate and run away. I know that I have went through that in my relationship, and mostly it didn't last long for us. It probably, you know, it doesn't ever last more than a few moments or an hour. Um, However, from what was it for me is just that horror of discovery that, oh my god, we have such an intense beautiful connection, you are my twin flame, how come we are fighting? Shouldn't be happening. This is impossible. What kind of twin flames are we if we actually having this disturbance and turbulence and misunderstanding? We're supposed to be understanding each other, like we're supposed to be finishing each other's sentences. We have this incredible connection. And you will have incredible connection and you will have disconnections as well, and it's absolutely okay. It's absolutely fine. It all passes and goes, and it just in some moments it requires more growth and more maturity and looking at some aspects of yourself. And that's why the running happens, because you need to actually go and do some inner work. It actually, you go and do that shadow work. You need to go and do that inner child work, everything that is still unhealed to be healed, all those fears and insecurities that come up, they need to be dealt with. And sometimes we don't want to dive into them. Sometimes it's easier to run away than do that inner work. Here's the next stage, which is surrender or maturity. That's when you actually come into terms to the fact that you need to surrender, or surrender is the pathway into the heart and into the soul, and surrender is the way into that depth, new level of depth, a new level of love, and new level of connection. And in that surrender, that's actually a moment of maturity happens. And it's not the moment of weakness. It's not the moment that I'm giving giving up, or I'm giving my power away. So that's where the power struggles turns, what I call in my coaching, from power struggle into power couple, where any kind of power struggle, you turn into the new empowered state for both of you, and you are actually empowered in your surrender. It means that you put your pride aside, or your fears aside, or your ego, and has to submit to the soul calling. That's the whole journey. That's the whole spiritual journey. And twin flames, it is a spiritual journey. It's the calling of the soul becomes stronger and more powerful than the ego, the grip of the ego, or demands of the ego. And it doesn't mean selling yourself out. It doesn't mean giving up on what you value. If anything is completely different, it's actually staying in what you value, in that incredible sense of self-love and self-worth. It's just coming from the really deeper place, not from the concept, not from the mind, but from the deeper concept of the soul connection. And you start valuing yourself deeper. That's why you can actually surrender. That's why you can give in and become humble. and that's how it removes the power struggle, then that those turbulences. And the next stage, ta-da, reunion. After this maturity has happened, this surrender has happened, there is a reunion of this beautiful soul connection. How can it look like? It can look like if you have been apart for many years and you come back together and you realize that I actually love you. I always loved you. This is incredible connection. Yes, I've placed, my pride or my importance, my money, career, or my ego above that, but I'm actually willing to trust. I'm willing to surrender. I'm willing to drop into this new level of love. Or if it's, if it was just a little quarrel or misunderstanding, that turbulence, you drop into that softness and your forgiveness and understanding that that is just your human acting out. It's literally, when this happens, is your human, which holds fears, holds the survival, holds traumas. It stirs it up. Your soul level is always blissful. It's always magical. It's always loving. It's always fear, free from fear, free from scarcity, free from blame, free from shame, from guilt, any kind of worries. So that's a beautiful place to be. Okay, so these are the stages of the twin flame. And now I would like to ask if someone would love to win a Akashic Records reading. I have been giving out, I have been doing them a few times a week now lately, and it's been absolutely incredible. If you feel like you have certain questions, if you feel like you want to connect to see that, receive that higher perspective on your life, on what's going on with you, it could be anything. It could be Nitika. Beautiful. Nitika, I will send you my link where you can book in and we can have this session, and it's going to be incredible. I absolutely love them. Please book in your time. What happens is we open your channel, your master's loved ones uh, and your teachers, your soul vibration, your soul frequency, and you receive exactly what you need to. And then that moment, the transmission happens of the healing as well, not just the knowledge, not just the answering your questions, but also a healing vibration comes through. And what I see, it's after a lot of things start shifting in a person's life, it's just like, receiving this new boost of energy. Absolutely beautiful and incredible. Let me know if you have any other questions. Would love to answer any of those. Also, where are you at? Where do you find what did you find valuable? What is important for you right now? Are you in the place where are you searching for that beautiful relationship, beautiful connection? And just let me tell you this thing. Yes, twin flames are incredible, and and a little bit glamorized as well in spiritual community. You can have an incredible relationship and create that powerful union, just being mindful and being conscious and being aware and knowing what does it take to have to create that relationship. It doesn't have to be like crashed on you, just, oh, this is your soulmate. It's not like stars and I don't know, bursting like flames, and all of a sudden you get realization this is your soul connection, and everything is now all solved and incredible. It's it's about bringing the beautiful intention of having love in your relationships at all times. Uh, no matter who, where you are right now, you know, what kind of relationship you are, you can bring love into that. And when you shed love into that relationship, you can understand if that's your place, if that's where you need to be, or you have learned your lessons and then you need to move on. There's nothing wrong with searching as well, and going with this, you know, trial and error as well. Sometimes finding the one, that perfect, beautiful, incredible connection takes a bit of a time and takes a bit of a testing and researching. It's like, are you the one? Oh, no, no. Are you the one? No. And it doesn't make you, you know, a bad person. It doesn't make you worse than anyone else. And it's okay if you go through the whole series of not successful relationship. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that you are exploring, you searching, and you're going to find one. Feel free to reach out to have I give a diagnostic session as well. You can book in for diagnostics where I can test into you, into your field, and tell you exactly what is blocking you, what's stopping you from whatever you're seeking in life, from love, from money, or from you know, a relationship, from healing. I will be able to identify those blocks, the traumas and woundings, and you can always go into the healing journey and remove of that. Stories that I have seen and I have you know, experienced in my life are incredible. I was just sharing you with about this client who already attracted the soul connection, and we just finished, you know, our program together, and he just up leveled immensely from being like really really in a deep uh, state of despair and losing hope and lost all the money, and was in the lowest low in his life, and feeling absolutely like crap. And the way he spoke to himself as well, very very critical, very negative, very defensive, and then up leveled like huge, massive. Now it's a beaming beautiful man with an open heart, kind, just shining, making huge massive deals, like money coming to him with ease, and now this beautiful love as well came into his life. So many things come from the healings. So much love to you, a lot of healing to you, and yeah, looking forward to seeing you next time. We are doing this weekly show every Wednesday this time. Join me for the next conversation about love, twin flames, soulmates, and powerful relationships. Anastasha Grace, much love. Bye.